Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching, as always. This is a little something different. We're going to do something that we've never done an episode like this before. The reason for this episode is our current climate. A lot of talk about the Constitution is not being upheld. Go back to the original Constitution. Do things the way of the Constitution. And a lot of people speaking their minds on the subject have no idea what the Constitution actually says. So we're going to remedy that tonight. No excuses from now on. If you want to know what the Constitution says, come back to this episode of the American Doofus channel. I was a teacher. I taught high school for the first 3 years. I also taught junior high after I graduated from college, and as I was pursuing a major. And I taught differently. I tried to look at it from the students' perspectives of how I would want to get the information. Now, I didn't do anything like this when I was teaching back then, but what I'm going to do tonight in this episode, we are going to hear and read the Constitution of the United States. Now, if we did it all in one sitting, a lot of people would leave. You know, after a little bit, it's getting because as we read it, we find out that there is nuance there, that there is room for interpretation, that it was written in such a manner as it could literally be adapted as the country grew. That was the intent. So how do we do that? Well, I'm going to play, I don't know, 10 to 15 minute segment of the Constitution. It takes about an hour to get through the whole thing, including the Bill of Rights. So I'm going to play about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to take a little pause, and we're going to watch a totally different video for 3 to 5 minutes. Everything from, well, you'll see a lot of different short videos. And then we'll go back and we'll hit the Constitution some more. That way everything stays kind of fresh, and our focus and concentration is there for the important stuff, which is the Constitution. So let's get to it. Let's get started. Again, thank you all for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share. Again, the reason we're doing this is because so many people talk about the Constitution and have never read it. So after tonight, no more excuses. You can sit back and watch and read and be entertained, because that's what we're going to try to do tonight. Here we go.
The Constitution of the United States of America, September 17, 1787. Preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
We had to memorize that in elementary school.
Article 1. Section 1. All legislative powers herein granted shall be vested in a Congress of the United States, which shall consist of a Senate and House of Representatives.
So far, we're still within constitutional authority in our country.
Section 2. The House of Representatives shall be composed of members chosen every second year by the people of the several states, and the electors in each state shall have the qualifications requisite for electors of the most numerous branch of the state legislature. No person shall be a representative who shall not have attained to the age of 25 years and been 7 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of the state in which he shall be chosen. Representatives and
Okay, I'm going to pause here just a second. I'm not going to pause this a lot, but here's one of those nuances, one of those things that can be questioned. Having being a citizen of the United States for 7 years, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state in which he shall be chosen. This can be read as, if you live in the state where you're chosen, then you're ineligible. And it's just one of many. Let's go on.
Direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states, which may be included within this union.
So anybody that says taxes aren't part of the Constitution, it's right here in Article 1.
According to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years, and excluding Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons.
Black people, the Black community. At that time, the slave nation. It's still here. It's still in the Constitution at the very beginning, Article 1. Those in service for a term of years are 3/5 of a free person. 3/5 of a free person. It was important because that's how many delegates or members of Congress each state got. So it was pressed that this be included originally in the Constitution, and it's still there.
The actual enumeration shall be made within 3 years after the first meeting of the Congress of the United States, and within every subsequent term of 10 years, in such manner as they shall by law direct.
That's the United States Senate census that occurs every 10 years that determines the number of congressional seats each state has.
The number of representatives shall not exceed 1 for every 30,000, but each state shall have at least 1 representative. And until such enumeration shall be made, the state of New Hampshire shall be entitled to choose 3, Massachusetts 8, Rhode Island and Providence plantations 1, Connecticut 5,
Plantations in the
New
north.
York 6,
There were plantations in the north.
New Jersey 4, Pennsylvania 8, Delaware 1, Maryland 6, Virginia 10, North Carolina 5, South Carolina 5, and Georgia 3. When vacancies happen in the representation from any state, the executive authority thereof shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies. The House of Representatives shall choose their speaker and other officers, and shall have the sole power of impeachment. Section 3. The Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof, for 6 years, and each senator shall have 1 vote.
Okay, that has changed as states now, citizens of each state vote,
Immediately after they
not just the legislators of each state.
shall be assembled in consequence of the first election, they shall be divided as equally as may be into 3 classes. The seats of the senators of the first class shall be vacated at the expiration of the 2nd year, of the 2nd class at the expiration of the 4th year, and of the 3rd class at the expiration of the 6th year, so that 1/3 may be chosen every 2nd year. And if vacancies happen by resignation or otherwise during the recess of the legislature of any state, the executive thereof may make temporary appointments until the next meeting of the legislature.
The executive of each state is the state's governor. And I said, I mentioned that legislators chose the senators originally in the Constitution. It was changed by one of the amendments to the Constitution,
which shall then fill such vacancies. No person shall be a senator who shall not have attained to the age of 30 years, and been 9 years a citizen of the United States, and who shall not, when elected, be an inhabitant of that state for which he shall be chosen. The Vice President of the United States shall be President of the Senate, but shall have no vote unless they be equally divided. The Senate shall choose their other officers, and also a President pro tempore, in the absence of the Vice President, or when he shall exercise the office of President of the United States. The Senate shall have the sole power to try all impeachments. When sitting for that purpose, they shall be on oath or affirmation. When the President of the United States is tried, the Chief Justice shall preside, and no person shall be convicted without the concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. Judgment in cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to removal from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law.
Okay. We're going to stop there as our first pause of the night. And first 3 articles lay out quite a bit. It's obvious that the founding fathers were concerned about the executive branch having too much power. And hang on a second here. I've got to get into the next video here. Okay. They were concerned about the executive branch having too much power. As you note, early on in the Constitution, lays out, impeachment and how impeachment should be handled and what to do if the president is impeached. And you might remember when former President Trump was impeached, the main concern with many Republicans was, well, he'll never be able to hold office or power again. And there wasn't an impeachment. Now there are indictments. Now there are potential trials and punishments and judgments coming. When if he would have just, if they would have just impeached him and he'd have went away, things would be all cleared up by now. But that didn't happen. And that's not where we're at. Where we're at is in a time where people echo chambers. People regurgitate what they hear. And a lot of people say, well, this about the Constitution, that about the Constitution, when they don't know what the Constitution actually says. That's the whole purpose of this episode. And we're going to get right back to more of the Constitution in a moment. But in the meantime, we're going to take a ride on the Beast. This is in Kings Island in Cincinnati, Ohio. One of my favorite rides. I've ridden on this many times. And we're going to take a ride from the front seat. Get back to the Constitution right after this. If you're afraid of heights or you get motion sick really easy or anything like that, this is the only one. This is the only roller coaster we're going on tonight. So go grab a Coke or an adult beverage, or put some popcorn in the microwave or whatever for taking a small break. To me, this is what a roller coaster is. That cut. Second climb. It's the wind in the microphone, the high pitch. And that is the Beast, the longest wooden roller coaster in the world. And that was our little break for this first session of the Constitution. And we're going to hop back to picking up at section 4. Here we go.
Section 4. The times, places, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations, except as to the places of choosing senators.
And yes, they spelled choosing CHUSING back then.
The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall be on the first Monday in December, unless they shall by law appoint a different day.
Which they have.
Section 5. Each House shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business, but a smaller number may adjourn from day to day, and may be authorized to compel the attendance of absent members, in such manner and under such penalties as each House may provide. Each House may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. Each House shall keep a journal of its proceedings, and from time to time publish the same, excepting such parts as may, in their judgment, require secrecy. And the yeas and nays of the members of either House on any question shall, at the desire of 1/5 of those present, be entered on the journal. Neither House, during the session of Congress, shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two Houses shall be sitting.
That's important because they wanted the two houses, the Senate and the Congress, to be in the same area so that one didn't try to usurp the other and overthrow the balance of power created by our tri-branch government, the executive, the judicial, and the legislative.
Section 6. The senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services, to be ascertained by law and paid out of the Treasury of the United States.
Yes, I can hear you all grumbling through the screen. I really can.
They shall, in all cases, except treason, felony, and breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the session of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either House, they shall not be questioned in any other place. No senator or representative shall, during the time for which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office.
Yes, it still says he, it's even though it's he or she.
Under the authority of the United States, which shall have been created, or the emoluments whereof shall have been increased during such time. And no person holding any office under the United States shall be a member of either House during his continuance in office. Section 7. All bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills. Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it become a law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approve, he shall sign it, but if not, he shall return it, with his objections to that House in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objections at large on their journal, and proceed to reconsider it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of that House shall agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent together with the objections to the other House, by which it shall likewise be reconsidered. And if approved by 2/3 of that House, it shall become a law.
That's why there is such focus put on controlling the House of Representatives and controlling the Senate. If one party of the two main dominant parties controls both houses, things can get passed and things can move, which can be a good thing. It can be a really bad thing, depending on which side you're on and which side's in power.
But in all such cases, the votes of both houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons voting for and against the bill shall be entered on the journal of each house respectively.
So those of you that are programmed to think that Republicans support veterans and Democrats are commies, look at some of the bills that have been voted on and who's voted no against them, especially recently with the veteran burn pit bill and the false accusations in order to justify behaviors of pork. This was a stripped down bill, and it was blocked for political theater. And if you really want to know the Constitution and you really want to see what's going on, it lays it all out for us right here.
If any bill shall not be returned by the President within 10 days, Sundays excepted, after it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law, in like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress by their adjournment prevent its return, in which case it shall not be a law. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and House of Representatives may be necessary, except on a question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and House of Representatives, according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. Section 8. The Congress shall have power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excises, to pay the debts and provide for the common defense and general welfare of the United States. But all duties, imposts, and excises shall be uniform throughout the United States. To borrow money on the credit of the United States. To regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with the Indian tribes. To establish an uniform rule of naturalization and uniform laws on the subject of bankruptcy.
Just want to point out something real quick. To regulate commerce with foreign nations and among the several states and with Indian tribes. The Native Americans weren't considered citizens
throughout the United States. To coin money, regulate the value thereof, and of foreign coin, and fix the standard of weights and measures. To provide for the punishment of counterfeiting the securities and current coin of the United States. To establish post offices and post roads. To promote the progress of science and useful arts by securing for limited times to authors and inventors the exclusive right to their respective writings and discoveries. To constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court. To define and punish piracies and felonies committed on the high seas and offenses against the law of nations. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, and make rules concerning captures on land and water, to raise and support armies, but no appropriation of money to that use shall be for a longer term than 2 years, to provide and maintain a navy, to make rules for the government and regulation of the land and naval forces, to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrections, and repel invasions, to provide for organizing, arming, and
let's go over this one more time. Congress is responsible to provide for calling forth the militia to execute the laws of the Union, to suppress insurrections and repel invasions. How do you tell an insurrectionist from a freedom fighter? Depends which side you're on.
and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them as may be employed in the service of the United States, reserving to the states, respectively, the appointment.
Just the term militia being used so much here. There was a focus on a militia during this particular time, the writing of this. The definition of that word, the usage of that word, the meaning of that word in our current society. As I said when we started this, you'll see the nuances, you'll see the places where interpretation is necessary. Here's a key one.
Of the officers and the authority of training the militia according to the discipline prescribed by Congress.
Now, if
To
you
exercise.
Now, if you hear that, the militia is our national guards. Our state militias are national guards, our second line of defense from the United States military, if you will. Others interpret it as a citizen's right to arm themselves however they see fit in case they have to be part of a militia, or in order to be part of a current organization that defines itself as a militia.
Exclusive legislation in all cases whatsoever over such district, not exceeding 10 miles square, as may, by secession of particular states and the acceptance of Congress, become the seat of the government of the United States, and to exercise like authority over all places purchased by the consent of the legislature of the state in which the same shall be.
The capital of the United States at one time was New York City, at one time Philadelphia, while Washington, D.C. was being built.
For the election of forts, magazines, arsenals, dockyards, and other needful buildings, and to make all laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers, and all other powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the United States, or in any department or officer thereof. Section 9. The migration or importation of such persons as any of the states now existing shall think proper to admit shall not be prohibited by the Congress prior to the year 1808, but a tax or duty may be imposed on such importation, not exceeding $10 for each person. The privilege of the writ of habeas.
We do understand this, and this is one of the nuances, okay? A tax on or duty may be imposed on importation of persons. This is the slave trade.
Habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it. No bill of attainder or ex post facto law shall be passed. No capitation or other direct tax shall be laid unless in proportion to the census or enumeration herein before directed to be taken. No tax or duty shall be laid on articles exported from any state. No preference shall be given by any regulation of commerce or revenue to the ports of one state over those of another, nor shall vessels bound to or from one state be obliged to enter, clear, or pay duties in another. No money shall be drawn from the treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law, and a regular statement and account of the receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. No title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without the consent of the Congress, accept of any present, emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state.
This may be the thing that is Donald Trump's downfall. He took a whole bunch of stuff from the White House that were gifts. He assumed they were gifts to him. And right here in the first article, section 9, no person holding an office shall, without the consent of Congress, he did not have it, accept any present of any kind, whatever, from any king, prince, or foreign state. And he accepted a whole lot of things, and he took them with him. That may be the, Al Capone didn't go to prison for the murders he committed, the murders he ordered, or the murders he was responsible for. And I'm not saying Donald Trump's a murderer. I'm just making a comparison between Al Capone and Donald Trump. Al Capone went to prison for tax evasion. So while Trump may seem to skate away on many major things, there are many things potentially constitutionally which may yet entrap the former president.
Section 10. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque and reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. No state shall, without the consent of the Congress, lay any imposts or duties on imports or exports, except what may be absolutely necessary for executing its inspection laws. And the net produce of all duties and imposts laid by any state on imports or exports shall be for the use of the Treasury of the United States. And all such laws shall be subject to the revision and control of the Congress. No state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or compact with another state, or with a foreign power, or engage in war unless actually invaded, or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay.
So basically, it's constitutionally requiring states to be part of the Union, not attack each other, not attack a foreign country, unless attacked. So we'll pause here at the Paul's here at the executive branch. And
Article 2.
whoa. There we go. We'll pause here at the executive branch and take another small pause. We're going to watch something called a reaction video. And I've been enjoying watching some of these on occasion over the past few weeks after somebody said I needed to do one of these. And instead of doing one of these, I'm going to just show one of them. I found that the reaction videos, a lot of them are music that I used to play, that I used to, cover in bands, and that makes me feel both a little old and at the same time privileged to have been able to perform some incredibly great music. So what we're going to watch as our break from the Constitution, and we're going to get through the Constitution, and you all are going to be able to say, I've read the Constitution of the United States. I know what it says, and you'll have some authority behind it because you really have. This is called I Was Wrong. This is a rap fan listening to AC/DC for the very first time.
It is LFR JoJo. Today I'm checking out AC/DC Thunderstruck. Let's get it, y'all. Okay. I think this is my very first AC/DC video on this channel. I listened to the cover song to this song a while back. I read to the cover song, but it was the wrong one. It wasn't really AC/DC. And y'all told me that that was nothing compared to the real AC/DC. So let's see, man. I don't really remember the cover. I think it was pretty good. I don't know. It wasn't really that memorable. But yeah, I'm checking out AC/DC Thunderstruck. I'm checking out the official video. I don't know if it's on the blog. I hope not. But that's what I'm watching. And I just hope it's a good song, man. I don't know much about AC/DC. I hope they're good. My standards aren't that high, if I'm being honest, because I've never checked them out. But I just hope they live up to something. But yeah, without further ado, let's get it. Okay. Let me turn this up. It's a nice intro. It's like it's walking you through it. Okay. It's kind of catchy. Good. Okay. Okay. That voice came out like lightning. Okay. Who is this guy? He can't sing. Okay. Hold up, y'all. Hold up. Okay, y'all. That kind of caught me off guard, man. That caught me off guard. I didn't know the song would be this good. Like, actually, let me start jazzing, though. This joint is lit. Smacked me like lightning, bro. No cap. who is Gaga? Just sing like a mug.
Play some guitar, Angus.
You just got this right. You gotta get ready for this. That ain't like a part of that, huh? I don't know if they be putting like lacing their songs with like some crack or something, but bro, I was wrong, man. This game, my expectations were a little too low for this. I've never been to a concert before. I really haven't. But when I listen to songs like this, bro, when I listen to songs like this, it truly makes me. It makes me want to go to a concert. It makes me just want to go to one of these concerts and just get lit and just go crazy, bro. Because these songs are lit. I really don't know what to say. I'm lost for words. I've experienced a lot of my life, like lose words or something, but they must have been like hot sauce and crack in these songs, bro. No cap. Man. Thunderstruck. I feel like I was struck by lightning or something. But yeah, any suggestions? Drop me down below because I need to listen to some more AC/DC. For real.
Music can bring us together. Oftentimes it does. Oftentimes it is bigoted as well. You know, there are times that, well, I'm not going to listen to that because that's by a black artist. There are times that I'm not going to listen to that because that's by a white artist. I'm really anti-country, but a lot of that is because I spent a lot of years as a disc jockey at country music stations, and I was a rock and roller the whole time. But music can bring us together if we open our minds and open our ears and allow ourselves to experience things. And the world is a whoa. Hang on, brother. The world is a I don't know, it seems like we're on a path that we need to get off of. I'll just put it that way. And if we stay on the same path, we're going to end up spending a lot of time with ourselves. If we don't make some drastic changes and we find ourselves without power, without the internet, without food, we're going to be isolated. We're going to be spending a lot of time alone. So you need to know yourself. Respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, ain't nobody gonna give a whoop, whoop. So respect yourself. And I respect you for being here and for going through the Constitution of the United States with us. And we are now going to look at what the Constitution says about the executive branch. We pretty much laid out everything is supposed to be in the legislative branch. Seems like we're pretty close to a constitutional government still. Let's look at Article 2 and the executive branch.
Section 1. The executive power shall be vested in a President of the United States of America. He shall hold his office during the term of 4 years, and together with the Vice President, chosen for the same term, be elected as follows. Each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct a number of electors equal to the whole number of senators and representatives to which the state may be entitled in the Congress. But
that is the Electoral College.
No senator or representative or person holding an office of trust or profit under the United States shall be appointed an elector. The electors shall meet in their respective states and vote by ballot for 2 persons, of whom one at least shall not be an inhabitant of the same state with themselves. And they shall make a list of all the persons voted for, and of the number of votes for each, which list they shall sign and certify, and transmit sealed to the seat of the government of the United States, directed to the President of the Senate. The President of the Senate shall, in the presence of the Senate and House of Representatives, open all the certificates, and the vote shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes shall be the President, if such number be a majority of the whole number of electors appointed. And if there be more than one who have such majority, and have an equal number of votes, then the House of Representatives shall immediately choose by ballot one of them for president.
So Mike Pence, acting as the president of the Senate, certified the election just as the Constitution required him to do.
And if no person have a majority, then from the 5 highest on the list, the said House shall in like manner choose the president. But in choosing the president, the vote shall be taken by states, the representation from each state having 1 vote. A quorum for this purpose shall consist of a member or members from 2/3 of the states, and a majority of all the states shall be necessary to a choice. In every case, after the choice of the president, the person having the greatest number of votes of the electors shall be the vice president, But if there should remain 2 or more who have equal votes, the Senate shall choose from them by ballot the Vice President. The Congress may determine the time of choosing the electors, and the day on which they shall give their votes, which day shall be the same throughout the United States. No person, except a natural-born citizen, or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution, shall be eligible to the office of President.
You can't be president
Neither
unless you're
shall
born in
any
the country.
person be eligible to that office who shall not have attained to the age of 35 years and been 14 years a resident within the United States. In case of the removal of the President from office, or of his death, resignation, or inability to discharge the powers and duties of the said office, the same shall devolve on the Vice President, and the Congress may by law provide for the case of removal, death, resignation, or inability, both of the President and Vice President.
Now, if the Republicans control the House of Representatives and the Republicans control the Senate, if they control the House, they can put in whoever they want as Speaker of the House. It does not have to be a member of the House of Representatives. One of the plots is for the Republicans to win the House in 2022, name Donald Trump as Speaker of the House, and provide for the case of removal of both the president and vice president, making the Speaker of the House the next person in line. In the case we're talking about, that would be Donald Trump. Currently, that is Nancy Pelosi. That is who would ascend to the presidency if the president and vice president were both declared ineligible for office. And constitutionally, it is a possibility. Even more reason for making sure that one party doesn't control both houses if they are Trumpers. Just something to think about.
Declaring what officer shall then act as president, and such officer shall act accordingly until the disability be removed, or a president shall be elected. The president shall, at stated times, receive for his services a compensation, which shall neither be increased nor diminished during the period for which he shall have been elected. And he shall not receive within that period any other emolument from the United States or any of them. Before he enter on the execution of his office, he shall take the following oath or affirmation. I do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Section 2. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy of the United States, and of the militia of the several states.
There's the wording that leads most to believe that the Second Amendment was describing the actual National Guard of each state, not an individual group of citizens' rights to decide they are a militia.
When called into the actual service of the United States, he may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices, and he shall have power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the United States, except in cases of impeachment. He shall have power, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate to make treaties, provided 2/3 of the senators present concur. And he shall nominate, and by and with the advice and consent of the Senate, shall appoint ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, judges of the Supreme Court, and all other officers of the United States, whose appointments are not herein otherwise provided for, and which shall be established by law. But the Congress may by law vest the appointment of such inferior officers as they think proper in the President alone, in the courts of law, or in the heads of departments. The President shall have power to fill up all vacancies that may happen during the recess of the Senate by granting commissions which shall expire at the end of their next session.
So far, where are we not constitutional? So far, where is the justification for returning America to the Constitution? From what I've heard, we are still constitutional, but let's keep listening.
Section 3. He shall from time to time give to the Congress information of the state of the Union, and recommend to their consideration such measures as he shall judge necessary and expedient. He may, on extraordinary occasions, convene both houses, or either of them, and in case of disagreement between them with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper. He shall receive ambassadors and other public ministers. He shall take care that the laws be faithfully executed, and shall commission all the officers of the United States. Section 4. The President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors.
Okay,
Article
we'll take another pause
3.
here. Come on now, we'll get
Provide for the
we will take another pause here and have us a little break before getting to I messed it up here, so
between in order to
I did it again. Hang with me here. I apologize. This is a I want to get to the judicial. Okay, time for another break. And this one's a little bit different. Each one of them is a little different, actually. And we'll get back to the Constitution with Article 3 of the Constitution, the first section of Article 3 coming up in just a moment. But let's take a little 2.5 minute break here. All right, so again, a little something different there. And that is our break. We're taking pauses as we go through the Constitution so that it's not a grind, because it is the definition of what our country is. Whoa. Oh, thank you all very much. It's the definition of what our country is, our Constitution. So, wow. Okay.
Article 3.
We're going to get to Article 3.
Section 1.
Here we go.
The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court, and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. The judges, both of the Supreme and inferior courts, shall hold their offices during good behavior, and shall, at stated times, receive for their services a compensation, which shall not be diminished during their continuance in office. Section 2. The judicial power shall extend to all cases in law and equity arising under this Constitution, the laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made under their authority. To all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers, and consuls, to all cases of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, to controversies to which the United States shall be a party, to controversies between two or more states, between a state and citizens of another state, between citizens of different states, between citizens of the same state claiming lands under grants of different states, and between a state or the citizens thereof and foreign states, citizens or subjects. In all cases affecting ambassadors, other public ministers and consuls, and those in which a state shall be party, the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction. In all the other cases before mentioned, the Supreme Court shall have appellate jurisdiction, both as to law and fact, with such exceptions and under such regulations as the Congress shall make. The trial of all crimes, except in cases of impeachment, shall be by jury, and such trial shall be held in the state where the said crimes shall have been committed. But when not committed within any state, the trial shall be at such place or places as the Congress may by law have directed. Section 3. Treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court. The Congress shall have power to declare the punishment of treason, but no attainder of treason shall work corruption of blood or forfeiture except during the life of the person attainted.
Very nuanced.
Article 4.
Okay, Article 3 was kind of short, so we're not going to take a break between 3 and 4.
Section 1. Full faith and credit shall be given in each state to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state, and the Congress may by general laws prescribe the manner in which such acts, records, and proceedings shall be proved, and the effect thereof. Section 2. The citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states. A person charged in any state with treason, felony, or other crime, who shall flee from justice and be found in another state, shall on demand of the executive authority of the state from which he fled, be delivered up to be removed to the state having jurisdiction of the crime. No person held to service or labor in one state under the laws thereof, escaping into another, shall, in consequence of any law or regulation therein, be discharged from such service or labor, but shall be delivered up on claim of the party to whom such service or labor may be due.
Once again, slavery.
Section 3. New states may be admitted by the Congress into this Union, but no new state shall be formed or erected within the jurisdiction of any other state, nor any state be formed by the junction of two or more states, or parts of states, without the consent of the legislatures of the states concerned, as well as of the Congress. The Congress shall have power to dispose of and make all needful rules and regulations respecting the territory or other property belonging to the United States. And nothing in this Constitution shall be so construed as to prejudice any claims of the United States or of any particular state. Section 4. The United States shall guarantee to every state in this Union a republican form of government, and shall protect each of them against invasion, and on application of the legislature or of the executive, when the legislature cannot be convened, against domestic violence. Article.
Okay, we're going to pause here. Amendments are coming up. You're seeing the Constitution is not as complicated, I guess you might say, as some people might think, but nonetheless, there are nuances.
5.
Stop. There are nuances within it. We'll get back to Article 5 here in just a minute. Let's do this for our break this time. Everybody loves kids, and if you love kids and you love musical talent and you like kids with musical talent, you're gonna like this little guy. This is Bad Company's song, Bad Company. Five Finger Death Punch version.
Sunrise and sun. A shotgun in my hands, behind the gun, I'll make my final stand. Yeah, and that's why they call me.
Yeah. Rock on, little guy. So there's our break on this one. Hold on a second. Hit the wrong button. Again, thank you all for watching. We are going through the United States Constitution. We're taking pauses during it because it enables us to stay fresh and focus on what's really important, and that is everybody having an opportunity to actually understand what the Constitution says. And we go now to Article 4. We're going to get into the amendments.
The Congress, whenever 2/3 of both houses shall deem it necessary, shall propose amendments to this Constitution, or, on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states, shall call a convention for proposing amendments, which in either case shall be valid to all intents and purposes, as part of this Constitution, when ratified by the legislatures of 3/4 of the several states, or by conventions in 3/4 thereof, as the one or the other mode of ratification may be proposed by the Congress, provided that no amendment which may be made prior to the year 1808 shall in any manner affect the first and fourth clauses in the 9th section of the first article, and that no state, without its consent, shall be deprived of its equal suffrage in the Senate. Article 6. All debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made, under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land, and the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary, notwithstanding. The senators and representatives before mentioned, and the members of the several state legislatures, and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution, but no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States.
No religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust. And the same goes for citizens.
Article 7. The ratification of the conventions of 9 states shall be sufficient for the establishment of this Constitution between the states, so ratifying the same. Amendments.
Okay, we're going to pause again here real quick while we are getting ready to start the 10 amendments. We're just going to go to the first 10 amendments tonight, the Bill of Rights. And if people like this, if people want to see more, we'll do the other amendments. And we'll also do the Declaration of Independence and some other government related.
Amendment 1.
Whoa. Sorry, running over that. Let's see. let's do this. We'll have another little talented high school kids performing together. These are videos you probably aren't going to see anywhere else, and that's why we're using them for breaks here in our entertainment. Hold on a second, hold on a second, hold on a second. Okay, we're going to do take 2 on that. Here we go. Some high school kids having some fun and something you're probably not going to see anywhere else. a little percussion night as we go through the Constitution of the United States of America and also its first 10 amendments. Wish I could get this thing to close here. Here we go. All right. So let's get back to the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution, otherwise known as the Bill of Rights. And we'll go through these. And again, we're going to stop after the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments. If there's enough interest, we'll do a follow-up and do the other amendments and finish up the Constitution and then go through the Declaration of Independence. And let's make sure we get this up. So we are here we go. First 10 amendments.
Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Amendment 2. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Amendment 3. No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in the manner to be prescribed by law. Amendment 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. Amendment 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia, when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation.
Pleading the fifth.
Amendment 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. Amendment 7. In suits at common law, where the value of controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of the common law. Amendment 8. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Amendment 9. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people.
That means the rights are not limited to just these.
Amendment 10. The powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Amendment 11. The judicial power of the United States shall not be construed to extend to any suit in law or equity commenced or prosecuted against one of the United States by citizens of another state or by citizens or subjects of any foreign state.
There we go. You get one extra. The Constitution of the United States and the first 10 amendments, otherwise known as the Bill of Rights. There was no need to hide from any of this in your civics class or your government class. There was no need to pretend like you couldn't understand it. There are some nuances, yes. There are some things that are potentially argumentative, but basically, this is what our country is. This is how our country runs. This is how our country has ran since the onset. The problem is people don't like personalities that are involved, and it's about the person, not about what's actually happening constitutionally. So there you go. First 10, actually first 11 amendments to the Constitution, and give Bill of Rights plus a little bonus there. And our Constitution, you can clearly and ethically say, I have read the Constitution if you're still with us. And we're going to give you a little bonus here at the end. Kind of wrap everything up, keeping in theme with what we've done so far. If you enjoy this, if you found this, if you found it educational, if you found it worthy, if you found it something that people should pay attention to, hit the share, hit the subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment below. If you'd like to see, more, if you'd like to see more about the government and things that should be talked about, let us know about that. We'll be happy to do that. Otherwise, Monday, the 9th of August, we will be back probably with a late night live at midnight. So look for that, look for the notifications for that. And again, hit your subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we're on. We're going to leave you with something something a little different here, but it kind of ties the night together. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.